Alright guys, it's time for the annual Lakers signed a role player video. This time around it's my beloved Marcus Smart, who got a buyout from the Wizards, so we don't have to do the whole, will Marcus Smart play well for the Wizards and then maybe he gets traded at the deadline? Nope, he's already on a team trying to win right now. It feels like since Marcus got traded from the Celtics, he hasn't really had a chance to do much. He's played 54 games in 2 seasons, some lower body injuries, also a finger injury that left him out for a long time. Of course, the Lakers are hoping for his awesome defense, being able to guard multiple positions, and let's go through the Marcus Smart experience right now, because Celtics fans argued with each other for years about Marcus, the good, the bad. The frustrations are mostly when he takes threes that you just don't want him to take. Now, with that said, Marcus definitely has a lot of, no, please, Marcus, don't take the, oh, he made it, okay, cool. Sometimes he'll go crazy from three. A lot of the time he won't. It ends up at like a 34 3-point percentage for a season, typically. And then besides that, the Celtics, they had stretches of nice off-ball movement around Marcus where he was able to make some decent enough passes, but you're definitely not asking Marcus Smart to run a bunch of screens offensively. Depending on how lineups play out, he's obviously going to be another ball handler next to Luka or Reeves or LeBron, depending on lineups. Teams will dare him to make threes, that whole thing. The year after his Defensive Player of the Year season, there was some drop-off. Enough has been done to death about if he actually deserved that award. My take on it is, I don't care. I like the dude. He got the award. So we'll see if he can dip back into the clock a little bit. I mean, the thing with Marcus, I know it's one to talk about his on-ball defense, defending guards and all that. To me, where Marcus's defensive stuff really shines through is being able to switch across a couple of positions and guard bigger than him and just be really annoying as a help defender around the free throw line, as well as, again, switching onto wings and just taller guards and all that stuff. Occasionally guarding in the post, things like that. And then there's the Marcus Smart plays, whether it's diving on the floor, whether it's just a huge defensive possession to decide the game where he gets a steal, or sometimes he might commit a crazy foul or something, crazy offensive rebounds, taking charges, being just really annoying, guarding a star player, and then they get frustrated and give him an elbow, and then he flops and draws a foul or whatever. I mean, Brad Stevens figured out pretty early into Marcus's career, even with the frustrations of Marcus, when he's on the floor, something good's going to happen. Something frustrating's going to happen too, but usually the good outweighed the bad enough, in my opinion. If he still has some of that in there, then okay, get ready for the Marcus Smart experience. I mean, the Lakers, yeah, they're pretty desperate for another real defensive player here. I mean, sure, Goodwin can play hard off the bench. Vando for the minutes he can play for you until his lack of an offense hurts you too much. Although I will say, if Marcus and Vando cannot hurt their offense too much, those two defensively, if Marcus still really has that in him, that sounds like a nightmare to deal with. I think Laravia defensively is cool. It feels like DeAndre Ayton is just one of the biggest swing guys in the league right now. And then, sure, LeBron, there was a real stretch last season where LeBron was excellent defensively, guarding all over the place, help defender, switching, guarding bigger players, etc. He couldn't keep that up for the whole year. And in the Minnesota series, it was just way too much to ask of him to be battling Randall and Naz Reid and Gobert physically and then also still do a bunch of stuff on offense. We will see how the lineups go. Of course, Marcus is going to be coming off the bench here, but in the minutes where he can line up with LeBron and take some of that off of his plate, Laravia can also switch across positions defensively. He's, 230 pounds or whatever, so that can take also a little bit more off of LeBron's plate as Finney-Smith is no longer here. This does also give them another guy to yell at DeAndre Ayton, because that was the thing with Marcus. As the Celtics were going through a couple years there of, are Tatum and Brown really leaders and all this stuff, Marcus was the guy who was not afraid to make things uncomfortable, including at least one locker room incident that made some numbers at one point. And not in a bad way, nobody ever disliked Marcus, but more so just a, hey, something needs to be said right now type of thing. And then, of course, teams are going to put Luka into actions, make him move defensively. They're going to put Reeves into actions and try to get bigger guys switched onto him, all that. And again, it'll depend on the lineups, but just having Marcus out there to hopefully make all that a little easier to deal with, yeah, you see the vision. It just comes down to if he's still got that Marcus Smart in him after a couple seasons now and just a bunch of missed games. And for what it's worth, I think Marcus will also give them a nice connective passer as well, just in the flow of the offense stuff. So that's that. Look, I love Marcus. I think that dude is not going to be scared of the moment at all. To the point where sometimes his lack of fear of a moment would lead to him taking shots that you don't like. And we will see if JJ ends up falling in love with Marcus the way Brad Stevens did and Udoka did, to the point where it was this dude's just got to be on the court for a close fourth quarter. I mean, we know LeBron, Luka, and a center are going to be in the game. and Ayton is by far their best 5. And, I mean, Reeves gives him more ball handling, shot creation, that whole thing. Rui gives him size, and also Rui's just become an awesome shooter off the catch. So I don't know. We'll see how all that works out. But first off, Marcus just has to establish that what he was for many years, that player that I really, really liked, is still in there. And I think he is. And I feel like he was showing that for a bit in that first Grizzlies season, but he only played 20 games, so not very big sample size. That's it. Shout out to Marcus.